Hello and welcome. In this course we'll be teaching you how to create many different particle effects in Unity for your various games. We will be updating this course with new lectures on how to create new particles every once in a while. We will start this course off with creating some let's say cartoony special effects, those kind of effects you would see in Legend of Zelda games like Wind Waker or Breath of the Wild. I'm a big fan of those games, so I will start by teaching you how to create such particle effects in Unity. To start off, in the scene view, I'm just going to click on this icon here and disable the skybox so we can have a clearer view of our particles. Then under hierarchy, I will click create and particle system. Now you can see we have this default Unity particle system. To be honest, it doesn't look too good, it's just white spheres floating up, but thankfully we can add our own assets to this. So I'm going to right click in the assets folder and go into import new asset, and I will import this cloud PNG that I have created in Photoshop for you guys. This will be in the course description, so be sure to download this asset and you can use it in your own games if you wish. Now if you import this PNG into Unity, even though it is transparent, when we import it to Unity, it's not transparent in Unity. So we have to click alpha is transparent here under its inspector and just apply, and then we can see that it is in fact transparent. Now we are going to create a material on which we will place this sprite. I will call this material cloud material. Now please, when you're developing your game, have folders for materials and for sprites. I'm just placing it all in the asset folder because, well, I'm just teaching you how to do things, I'm not creating a game. Now this material has a standard shader. Shaders are basically scripts that communicate with the graphics card, and they're a complex topic, so we're not going to talk about them now too much. You need to know that we're not going to be using a standard shader, we're going to be using a particle additive shader. So we can place our texture here. Now that our material is done, I can just drag it onto my particle system, and you can see that we now have these sweet looking cloud particles. Looks much better now. So now if we click on the particle system and go into the inspector, we can see that it has a particle system component. Now this is where we're going to play around with the particle system to get the result that we want. So the first thing here to note is duration. This is how long the particle is going to last. Since this is set to looping, this value doesn't really matter because it's just going to loop. But if I disable looping and simulate this particle, you can see that it will be creating particles for 5 seconds, and once 5 seconds have passed, it will stop, as you see. But I will check looping to be true, just because we can have a clear preview all the time while we're creating this particle. So now start color. I'm going to this particle effect, I want to create something like a ground pound, so when a character hits the ground, kind of like a effect of dust. So I'm going to choose a darker color. Okay. And now under emission, you can see that it is creating 10 particles over time. We don't really want that, we want to create a burst particle. So under bursts, I'm going to click this plus sign here. And you can see here in the scene view that it's creating particles, and then it creates a burst of particles. And that's what we want. We don't want particles over time, we want a burst of many particles at once. So this is the minimum number of particles. I'm going to set this to 100. And the maximum number of particles, I'm going to set it to 200. And rate over time is going to be 0. Now if we simulate, we can see our particle is getting somewhere. But we don't want it to fly up, because it doesn't make sense. You hit the ground and the particle appears and flies into in space. You might think that we should set the gravity modifier to 1. Well, actually that's just going to launch it up into the air and then drag it down, as you can see. So leave that to 0 and go under shape. Now you can see the shape is a cone. So how this works is it will create the particle down here and then just emit it upwards. We could increase the angle of this cone, but what I think is a much better solution is to just change the shape from a cone to a circle. This way you can see we have this nice ground pound effect. Also, I would like to just increase the size, maybe 2, okay, and make it faster. So just simulation speed, here it is, 2. Nice. We're also going to disable looping, so you can think of it, the character hits the ground and the particles play and it's done. But they disappear badly, they just stop. We don't want that. We're going to scroll down, and here we have the size over lifetime. Click on that, enable it, then click on it to activate the drop down. Now here you can see the size is 100% when the animation starts. So we're going to take this last pin and drag it down to 0. Also just let's adjust the curve to our liking. And now if I simulate the particle, you can see it slowly becomes smaller and then just stops. Okay, so that's basically everything that I want for this particle. You can also change the color over lifetime or by speed. I'm not going to do that for this particle. I will call it ground pound. And now I can save it, drag it into the scene and save it as a prefab, and whenever I drag it to the scene I have this nice little particle. What I want to do now is maybe demonstrate this in a video game environment. So I'm going to create a cube. This is completely optional, you guys don't have to do this. You can stop watching right now, but for those of you who want to continue, go ahead. I'm going to create a material now. This is going to be kind of like the ground. Just let's enable the skybox. Set the texture to maybe the color to black. Attach the material. Call this ground. Then I'm going to create another 3D object, a cube. Call it object. I will pick it up. I will add a rigid body. So I want this cube to fall down on the ground and create particle effect. So for that I need the rigid body component. And I'm also going to need a script. So let's create a C# script quickly. Call it, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, object. Oops. Open your script. Just Unity has some kind of issues. Okay, when this loads, I'm going to declare a public game object ground pound. This is for our effect. And I want to create a new method, void on collision enter. Here we have to place the collider parameter. I'm just going to say, so whenever we collide with something, I want to instantiate ground pound at transform.position, and the rotation will be the rotation of ground pound. Okay, let's head back into, oops, sorry about that. Let's head back into Unity. What kind of problems do we have, man? Interesting. Maybe it doesn't want me to have. I don't want a behavior script in the file. Unity, man. Let's just change the name to maybe player. Yeah. And then change this to also. Whoops. Come on, man. Open it. Yes, and we need to change the name of the class to player. Oop, sorry. What's the problem, man? Okay, sorry about that, guys. Unity sometimes plays a prank on you. So just attach the script to the object, and then just attach our ground pound effect to the ground pound place. And then if we, okay, let's go to the game view. let's just adjust the camera a bit so we can see our creation better. And rotate maybe downwards. Maybe. Whoops. Just a moment. Yeah, sure, whatever, good enough. So let's play. And the object falls down. I made a mistake, sorry about that. Let's fix that. It's not collider, it's collision. I'm very sorry. Not a huge mistake, no problem. So if we play and the object falls, we have this nice little particle, which looks really great. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next particle tutorial.